Hello fellow crafters, my name is George and this is the Spare Time G, and today we're gonna make Simba from the Lion King gazing down onto his father's footprint. So Simba is my favorite Disney movie, and I was so happy to hear that they were going to do the quote-unquote live action adaptation of it, and have decided to make one of my favorite moments and kind of sculpt it when Simba is gazing down on Mufasa's footprint and like realizing how small he is in comparison to his dad. So of course I have started my building process by making my beloved ceramic plate as the foundation for everything, and then I will have to cover everything up with clay in order to have some kind of surface, the level on which I'm going to dig through and make the bumps, the dips of Mufasa's paw. The place where Mufasa's print is quite quite plain, and there are not like hills or bumps or not anything, just some tops of the grasses on the left or the right. So firstly you will have to create this plain site. Once you're done, you will have to use some kind of a tool to mark the places where the footprint is going to be. Well, I have used real reference photos onto the internet of how large the lion print is. It is kind of large, like bigger than the human palm, so to say. So I have decided to make it as large as possible. For better effect, probably I have gone a little bit too far with that, but yeah, I'm quite satisfied. Once you have marked it, just use some kind of tool to shape it and cut out some little pieces from it, so you have this decent effect of it. And then you can use the biggest loop tool you can find in order to carve it out smoothly and as close to the real footprint as possible. Just make sure to keep some basic strategy on. For example, the finger parts, I don't know if those are called fingers, but the finger parts should not be going deeper than the middle portion of the palm of the paw, because the spread of the load is not that much on them than it is on the palm, on the main body of the paw. But unfortunately, the fact that this main body is larger, the angle on which this tip goes is much smaller, so it creates the effect that they are on the same surface level than one of them, in this case the middle part being deeper. So I was not letting myself to be very sad about it, and just left it how it was. I have tried to go as close to the ceramic plate with the middle part as possible, so I have made the deepest possible dip for the middle portion of the paw. Yeah, now that's it. Once you're done with this, you can just create grass. Creating grass is quite simple. At this scale, you don't really need to do anything different than make these cones of clay and then just simply press over it and squish them and create these little blades, which you will simply paint in green, and that's it. Just make sure to make different sizes of them, so ones which are farther away from this scene should be taller, and ones which are getting closer to the edge of this grassy field needs to be smaller, indicating that the grass field is kind of ending gradually instead of making one swipe and a stiff border to it. It is more natural, I think. Yeah, we are done with the texture, with the surface of the diorama. Now we will have to create Simba himself. So here you can see the ball of clay, which at the same time is filled up with paper, of course. This method will give you some kind of lightness to the body, as unfortunately he turned out to be a really heavy guy. Looking from now, I should probably make the legs filled up with paper as well, and probably maybe had to use some kind of wiring, but I have at this point have decided that the thickness of his of Simba's legs would maintain their body well enough, so I did not consider adding some kind of wires or anything like that. I just thought that the emptiness of body and the head, which I have also created with the paper, would be enough. Here you can see the progress I'm making. Right now I'm attaching the legs, hind legs and front legs to it. The main thing you will have to consider in terms of proportions are that the smaller the lion is, the more disproportionate his body parts are. For example, head should be quite large in comparison to the body. Ears at the same time. I don't even think that ears grow as they get older. I think that ears just stay the same size as their overall body grows. And at the same time, the hands, the legs and the paws should be quite large in comparison to their main body as well. So that's it. Here you can see I'm doing quite a progress here. Just make sure not to make him overly fat, and at the same time not to make him very skinny as well. You can kind of use the photos, but I found it much better to just go through the videos of him, of the Lion King movie, and pause at the perfect angle situations and then screenshot it in order to make the reference photos for it. Because unfortunately, as it is a quite old movie, you won't be able to easily find nice photos of Simba in angles you desire. So right now what we have to do is the tail, of course, but before you do that, just make sure to add eyes and at the same time make stripes for fur, because it will be really the tail will be getting in the way and it will be really difficult to do anything when it is attached. Once you're done with the main body, just attach the tail, then continue blending the fur parts in the place where the tail and the body connects, and then you will done and ready for painting. So here's our third version with the eyes. It looks quite nice in my opinion. And right now what we have to do is to use my paint to cover it. And here is our guy. I'm quite happy with this diorama. It really looks quite nice in my opinion, and the fact that it is closely real life size also makes it much better in real life. Of course, unfortunately the camera cannot depict how awesome it is onto the actual life instead of being on the screen. This moment was quite awesome in the movie, and I hope they will replicate it in the replicate not only it but everything. I don't really want them to change anything from the actual movie and do the live action adaptation as cool, or maybe like 50% as cool as the old movie was. It will still be awesome. In my heart, this original will always be the first and the best movie from Disney. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I enjoyed making it. It was quite a fun and challenge at the same time. Right now I'm enjoying doing dioramas a lot, and maybe more of them will come later on in the new year, or maybe in this year as well. Have a nice day and see you next time. Goodbye.